All right, we are back with another Drive Across 65. Kind of an impromptu recording today. I've just been in the think tank, just trying to figure out some angles for the second half of the season. And I just started writing down notes and then more notes and then started looking up more information. And then it got so much, and I want to drop so much knowledge. I want to spread the wealth, man, that it's too much just to tweet out. So we are going to refer to some of the tweets from earlier today for people that are just on YouTube. But I have a lot of info to get out. Second half of the season coming up. I'm pretty excited. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to what direction I was going in the information I was looking up. I was just grabbing at random teams just to see what I could find out, and I ended up starting a list, and I got to probably 25, maybe 27 teams, minus the bottom feeders. My apologies in advance if you're here looking for information on the Nationals, or let's see here, uh, Nationals, Tigers, the A's. I might talk about the A's a little bit. Kansas City. This is not going to be the channel for you. I kind of dabble into every other team, though. Like I said, this is impromptu, no editing, just notes. I'm just going to just fire away at it. We're going to see what happens. See the mullet still loading. Yeah, still loading. Still load, guys. I'm not going crazy right now. Like, I'm not a madman who doesn't understand I'm on camera with my hair crazy. It's just mullets loading. Let us start with the home team. Obviously, I'm going to start with the home team. I said there wasn't any rhyme or reason, but I'm starting with the home team, the Reds, Cincinnati Reds. Give credit to, let me see here, Power Rankings Guru. First of all, was looking up strength of schedules, and I looked up different sites, and what did I say their name was? Power Rankings Guru was the one that I put most of my trust into, that I agree with and back the most, looking at remaining schedules for teams compared to where they ranked them. I did look at a couple other spots. Also, all of my stats are coming from there and ESPN. So if we're talking about averages, runs scored, all that stuff, it's all via ESPN. So back to it. Reds. Look at their strength of schedule. And again, so I'm going to backtrack again. Everybody's like, just get to the point. Look, so the reason I do this is because we create a bias when we're thinking about teams. And it happens every year, every sport, every situation, where we see names in a lineup or a quarterback name, whatever sport it may be, and we're like, that team's going to be good. They have names. And we don't focus on the actual statistics, right? Or we get so fixated on what they did last year that we forget it's a new team, new game, new schedule, maybe new coach, whatever the situation is. Situations change. You have to be able to adapt, and I think it's a big part of sports betting, gambling. People don't adapt. They see the names, and I refer to them all the time. The Phillies have the most names out of in the pod. Well, the Padres have a ton of names too. The Phillies have Schwarber, Harper. They have so many names. The Padres have so many names. Padres have improved, but there's just so many names. It makes you want to back them, man. And that's where you get hooked a lot of the time backing these teams. So two halves of the baseball season will change, right? First half to the All-Star break, second half. The strength of schedules will change. And what I'm going to talk about here is how drastic some of the strength of schedules have changed, and who to back and who to fade. And we don't want to get caught up in this team was good, what happened to them. There's an explanation for what happened to them. We're going to dive into that. I'll give you all a couple examples. You're going to love it. The most interesting thing that popped off to me about the Reds, obviously I'm a fan, so it's hard to not be biased, but their schedule got a little bit easier. They're -9 in run differential and fifth in runs scored. That's hard to wrap my brain around because that's telling me that they're scoring a ton of runs, but they played teams that scored a ton of runs, but their strength of schedule wasn't that high, and it's not going to be that different coming into the second half of the season. It's an interesting one. Cubs. I want to talk about the Cubs. I'm excited. There's a couple teams. All right, I said there wasn't any rhyme or reasons. There's a couple teams that I'm really excited about coming into the second half of the season that I'm gonna lead off with. The Cubs. They had a top 5 strength of schedule to start the season, and I was a big Cubs backer, Cubs supporter, and I could not figure out where I was missing with them with my reads, why they weren't a better team. Top 5 strength schedule to start the season. They have the easiest schedule, one of the easiest schedules, number 29, I believe, to end the season with. We are going to be backing the Cubs like we need air. It's going to be insane. They're the only team in the NL Central with a positive run differential, which is interesting. Again, I'm a Reds fan, so it hurts to say, but I credit that to their top 3 now with Hendricks back. Their rotation is insane. Steele is a monster. Stroman's doing his thing this year, and then, like I said, they got Hendricks back. He's doing his thing. He's a first 5 backer that we've been backing a lot, getting him to the 6th inning, and the Cubs being successful in the first 5 innings. They're pitching as a team, 4.0 ERA. It's pretty strong. We'll be backing the Cubs a ton. The Twins. I couldn't figure out their ticket. World Series ticket was 31 when we got at the beginning of the season. It's 25-1 now. I'm gonna let you pause for a second. Just pause the video if you have the opportunity and go grab that ticket. Minnesota Twins, 25-1. If you want to cash out in 2 months, or if you want to ride the whole way, hedge, no hedge, it doesn't matter. Go grab that ticket. I'm telling you guys, it's going to pay off, and here's why. Number 13 strength of schedule to start the season. Second easiest schedule remaining. They're still at 25-1. They have a collective pitching ERA at 3.68, one of the top 3 or top 5 pitching in the league. Now, I know I've thrown a ton of shade at Carlos Correa. He deserves it. He's not that guy to get that contract. I truly believe they're going to make some moves before the trade deadline and improve that roster. They got to be able to hit better, or else all this is for nothing. Grab that 25-1 ticket right now. I'm telling you guys, their bullpen's ridiculous. The pitching's ridiculous. Their schedule's going to get way easier. The only thing they're lacking right now is batting, and I think that'll improve. The Yankees. This is where I just start kind of grabbing the teams just to see what happens. The Yankees, they had the second strength of schedule, second grade strength of schedule, and they dropped to number 21. Obviously, they're going to need to get Judge back. They're 19th in runs scored right now, which is not great. It's another team with names that you're thinking they'll always win, they'll always score, they're always going to be the favorite, and they haven't been this year. They were hurt. They got some guys back. Really like Bader for them, man. Obviously, Rizzo's a stud. They get Judge back, maybe make a move at the deadline. I know Yankees fans are mad right now because they have coupons on their sleeves, whatever. That could be a team for us to watch the back. Going the exact opposite way, I'm way too excited about this one too because I just feel like I'm just finding needles in haystacks. Are the Angels going to get exposed? They go from the number 27 strength of schedule, one of the bottom 3, one of the easiest strength of schedules in the MLB, to a top 3, the exact polar opposite of where they were at. They might get exposed. They don't have pitching. Ohtani, okay, I get it. They won't have him for long. They don't have pitching. Trout's out. I know they say until August. I think it's going to be longer than that, maybe the middle of August. And it's not looking good for them. Angels are going to be a big, big fade coming the second half of the season. I like Drury for him. He's been hurt. They just picked up Moustakas from the Rockies. That's a little bit of improvement. I think Rendon got hurt prior to the break. Don't know where he's going to be. Definitely. And what's going to suck is around the trade deadlines when everybody's going to figure out that they need to start fading the Angels when we need to start fading them now. So let's get ahead of that. Baltimore Orioles, they're going to essentially be doing the same thing that they did last year, where they started out with a really easy schedule, didn't look horrible, and then their strength of schedule pretty tough, and we had to start fading them late too. They don't have the bullpen like they did last year to keep them in games. Shout out to Ross. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this right. Rossman for switch hitting in the home run derby. That was pretty cool, man. That was sick. But other than that, it's not much more to look forward to the Orioles for the rest of the season. Colorado Rockies. Oof. Oof. They have projected the number one strength of schedule coming out of the break. Feel bad for Chris Bryant, man. I liked him a lot. Big supporter. CJ Cron liked him. They'll fall apart. They'll end up resting guys and going that route. We'll fade them second half of the season. Maybe take some opponent team totals overs. If they're playing in Colorado hasn't been hot this year for runs, man. It's almost been a fake Coors Field. Coors Field doesn't exist right now. I want to talk about the Padres. So big bounce back for them when they got Tatis back. They went from, I was throwing shade at them, and rightfully so, and I got the stats back. They went from number 29 in runs scored to number 17 in runs scored. Partially is that because they got to play at Great American Ballpark, obviously, right? But getting Tatis back was a big deal. He's leading the team in home runs now, only playing a quarter of the season. That's pretty huge. Here's the thing, though. I saw a stat that said, and don't quote me on this because I just saw it on the internet. We don't know if everything on the internet is true or not. They have to win 67%, like 70% of their remaining games to make the playoffs. It's another team with a lot of names that you're going to want to back. They have a mid-range strength of schedule. We'll see. Like I said, if they had a bottom 5 strength of schedule or outside the top 20 strength of schedule, I would say back them. They'll probably make the playoffs. Right now, we might have to bet, see if there's any extra money on betting them to not make the playoffs at all, man. It seems like it's not going their way. Texas Rangers leading the league in every category as far as offense, essentially, their batting average, runs, and all that stuff. They kind of fell apart there towards, it's summertime, guys. It's hot. I'm sorry. I know I'm dehydrated. I'm trying to talk a lot. They led the MLB in offense in a lot of categories before the break, and they're not doing themselves any favors coming out of the break. They have a top 5 strength of schedule coming out of the break, and not having DeGrom might be it for them. Probably not going to back them a ton. Maybe find some spots to back their offense here or there. Same thing with Tampa Bay. If you guys remember, let me flex for a second. Thank you. If you guys remember, I was on the Rays strength of schedule to start the season. Everybody talked about how phenomenal it was that they started 9-0, 10-0, 12-0, or whatever it was, undefeated at home for 30 games, whatever it was. They had your computer didn't freeze. I didn't write this down. They had, and I told you guys this was not planned. They had the number 20 strength of schedule first half of the season. They have the number 8 strength of schedule coming out second half of the season. They're a good team. Give them credit where credit's due, but I told you guys they were not as good as the undefeated start that they had. They're going to get exposed in the second half. Do not get attached to that name. They have some names on that team. Do not get attached to Tampa Bay. They're going to let you down. A team that will not let you down, the Braves. They're getting some Some of their pitching is healthy now. We're going to back them a lot. Their strength of schedule increased a little bit, but not enough. They have like a plus 114 run differential. Like they're destroying people. We gotta stop backing the Braves more. Dodgers, we're going to see how their rotation ends up because right now the only name they have that's recognizable for pitching that's worth backing is Kershaw. I know Julio Urias is back, but he got lit up. He's decent. I think May's out for the season, or he might be coming back late if they make a playoff push. Dodgers looking like we'll have to see. I did say we weren't going to talk about the Oakland A's. I did look at the A's just to see. They're calling up some of their young guys. They're probably going to be throwing in the towel. It's probably going to look like just fade them for the rest of the year. They're going to turn into a AAA team. Their schedule flipped also. Might make them look a little bit better, but nothing I want to support. The Red Sox are likely to be the same team. We're going to have to start backing Yoshi and some total bases or some runs scored or something to record a hit, something. We're going to have to start backing Yoshi because he is, I don't want to say he's been off my radar because I acknowledge him. I know he is, and I've backed the Sox this year, but he hasn't been a focus, and he needs to be. He's a stud. He's really good. And shout out to Duval. Duval Star. He is back. Louisville's own. He's healthy. Broke his hand, broke his wrist earlier in the season. He is back. Diamondbacks. They're going to be a fade, probably, or at least not back. I know they have some young talent there, man. They've been crushing it. They started the season off really strong. They got a pretty tough schedule coming out. I know they have Zach Gallen, maybe back Gallen, but they have a really tough schedule coming back out second half of the season. It's probably going to be a fade or at least not back from them. Houston Astros, they are cheaters. Their schedule didn't change, so I'm sure they cheated that way somehow too, right? Altuve's back. They improved a little bit. We'll see what happens with them. The San Francisco Giants might be back. They're healthy with an easier schedule. Their pitching's coming around. I said this earlier when I was giving grades out mid-season that they had some guys that were hurt, and I remember watching one of the Sunday night games, and the play-by-play was saying that some of their guys were hurt and they were getting some pitching back. And I wrote the mental note down in the back of my head, and I didn't remember who the players were, but they should be back. As a team, they should be back. They got an easier strength schedule. They're not bad this year. A team that is really bad, and I went into the season with really high hopes for this team. Not high hopes, but high expectations because they're in the NL Central. High expectations, not high hopes for this team. St. Louis Cardinals, they might be the biggest disappointment of the season. I mean, they very well could be. They had a Hall of Famer catcher retire on them, and they replaced him with what should be a Hall of Famer, and that's falling apart. Their schedule got harder. I know they still have Goldschmidt, Arnando. They still got a ton of names on that team, but they're just not performing. And that's one of the situations we get stuck in where we see all these names in the lineup. We're like, oh, they're going to be good this time. And then they're not. We got to stop that. We got to stop it. Blue Jays, their schedule hasn't changed. I was interested in seeing what was going on with them. Not much. Shout out to Guerrero for winning the home run derby, though. That was wild. Oh, the Mets. Oh, the Mets. Oh, boy. Oh boy, the Mets. There's some things money can't buy, and one of those things is the strength of schedule. For them already getting tore up in the season and looking like they had a little momentum going towards the break, their strength of schedule just got so much harder. I wrote down that it was bad, but I'll tell you exactly how bad. Number 15 is where they're ranked. Excuse me, I did that backwards. They were ranked number 15. They're number 9 coming back. It's going to be tough for them. Mariners, shout out to Julio. We had him at 5-1 to win the home run derby, and he went out and hit all of his home runs in the first round and then fell apart. It's 2 years in a row I backed Julio, and did not work out. Their schedule pretty much stayed the same. They'll be all right. They won't be great. Philly, we talked about them a little bit. They'll get a little bit of help. Maybe some of their names on that team can will them into winning. Miami Marlins. We might be back on the Marlins team total under. Now, I know they have a guy, I'm going to try to pronounce his name, Luis Ariz, but I always say Ariz. That's batting essentially 400 at the break, right? He's batting like 378, 388 or something like that at the break. Huge, man, the sprinkler, right? It's cool. He's hitting it everywhere. But their strength of schedule gets so tough. They're going to get exposed a lot second half of the season. Coming in with the number 7 strength of schedule. We might be back on that Miami team total under. Brewers, they have an easy schedule coming out. I say that, and they're playing the Reds first game out of the break, so I'll just take my foot out of my mouth here. That sucks. They do have a pretty soft schedule remaining. They're 49 and 42, I believe. They're without their ace. He should be getting back soon. From what I've read, he'll be back this season. Expect him to do well second half. White Sox, surprisingly, the White Sox that lasted. Still watching. Very easy schedule coming out. See if they can capitalize on that. They could turn it around. They have a chance. And the last one I wanted to talk about was the Guardians. Probably the easiest. The Angels are going to be the easiest team to fade coming out of the break. Guardians might be the second easiest. Their strength of schedule flipped also. They had one of the bottom strength of schedules coming out, and they have one of the top, one of the hardest strength of schedules coming back out of the break. Let's see what else I want to talk about. I know that I said so last year league average. I don't have the number now. This year, 12 games on the board right now, and the totals in those games are at 8.09. Let me double check my math. Yeah, 9.08 exactly like I said. So the average total run right now in sports books and games listed, 12 games, is 9.08 runs. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw that I was talking about possibly backing every over, just due to the fact that I think it's a misconception that people think that pitchers come out rested and players come out of rhythm after that half week off, or whatever it is, coming out of the break. Might be the other way around, man. Last year, there were, I'm going to make sure I say this right, 20 games over the 2 days coming out of the break. Only 5 of those games went under, right? So 15 games went over out of the 20 games, first 20 games coming out of break. 2 of the games that went under were doubleheaders, which kind of throws a wrench in the system, throws an asterisk up on the record when you think about it. So the way I'm looking at it as a handicapper is essentially 15 out of the 18 games, we're not going to count the doubleheaders, went over. And the average, I think, was like the average game total was somewhere like 8.08, and this year it's like 9.08. So obviously the shift is different. The sports books adjusted for that. It's hotter in Hades the last couple of weeks. Maybe the sports books are adjusted to the heat. Who knows? And maybe they saw the data too. It was like players are coming out hitting, batters coming out hitting last year. You know, they're not going to pull the okey doke on us. I don't know. It's still up for debate. I'll tweet out the plays, YouTube videos, the plays. I just had to get out. It's been a week without betting any sports. The home run derby don't count. The All-Star game don't count. Not betting any other sports right now. I had to release some of the gambling energy I have, some of the built up. Like, I have to get it out. And I felt like this was a great way to get it out. I want to spread the knowledge, spread the wealth. Appreciate everybody following me. It's all I got for you guys. I came into this, like I said, it was impromptu recording. I just got really excited, just looking up stats and plays and angles and stuff. Could have been a 3-minute, could have been a 10-minute recording, ended up going 25 minutes. Shout out to everybody who stayed and listened. Appreciate you guys. If you just saw me on YouTube and you got attached to my voice, make sure you're following me on Twitter at the Joshua Sharp. I drop sides, plays, and whatnot on there. Ideas, thoughts, retweets of some really good handicappers that I follow that I like a lot, respect a lot. And appreciate you guys listening, hanging in. We'll be back tomorrow with some more sports. Good luck, everybody.